Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all our attendees joining us today for this much anticipated session hosted by Legal Specs. Today, we are tackling a very powerful and a timely question. Can India's legal system keep up with the rapid rise of artificial intelligence? This is a question that touches not just the coders and the policy makers, but every single citizen, especially those of us in law, compliance, and governance. The world is fast changing, and artificial intelligence (AI) is at the center of this shift. From generative AI tools like the ChatGPT, Gemini, to automated decision making in hiring, surveillance, healthcare, and finance, we are seeing a massive changes in how data is handled, privacy is defined, and responsibility is assigned. So before we dive in, I have a very few housekeeping notes for you. Please keep your microphones muted during the session. And about the questions, you can post them in the chat box so we can take up in the during the final Q&A session. And yes, the session is being recorded, and the participants will receive a free certificate post event upon filling of the feedback form that shall be shared in the chat box. That will be towards the end of the session. Yeah. In today's session, we'll explore the future of India's data privacy and protection laws, how AI is challenging traditional legal frameworks, what legal professionals can do to stay relevant, ethical, and informed in the evolving space. Whether you are a law student, a tech entrepreneur, a policy researcher, or a compliance officer, today's insights are bound to spark new questions, new career ideas, and a deeper understanding of where India's system is headed in the AI era. It is my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, Advocate Sahana B. Satyanarayan. Sahana ma'am is a legal strategist, qualified and registered independent director with the Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs and the first in-house legal counsel at Westin, a global real estate services firm. With over 15 years of legal and strategic advisory experience, she is a one woman legal army for her deep and versatile experience, ranging from commercial real estate contracts, data privacy, employment law, ESG, corporate governance to intellectual property and tech compliance. Some of her career highlights include spearheading the legal closure of $100 million real estate deal for global banking major and advising business leaders on high-stake regulatory decisions across the geographies. She is also a pro bono advocate for gender-neutral rights, extending legal support to both men and women facing workplace and domestic injustices. Outside her professional achievements, she actively champions ADHD awareness as a parent advocate, helping shape more inclusive and informed support system. Truly, Sahana ma'am represents the evolving phase of legal leadership in the age of AI, business, and inclusive justice. So, without further delay, it's my pleasure to now hand over the session to our expert speaker, Advocate Sahana B. Satyanarayan. Ma'am, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, Akshada, and thank you, Legal Specs, for hosting me. And I warmly welcome all the participants for this session. I would like to first start saying that on a Sunday evening, you all have took out your time to gather for this webinar. That's really a great achievement. So kudos to you all. Congratulations to you all for taking time out. And let's start with it. I would not want this to be a one person speaking engagement. I would want to have it more interactive. Yes, we can take questions at the last, but I would not want, I mean, I would first want everybody to please switch on your videos if you're okay with it, so that, it becomes more focused and interactive session. And we can expect it to be more engaging as well. So let's begin today's session. Is everybody muted by the host, or how is it?
They can
No, ma'am.
unmute actually.
We
They can
haven't.
unmute and
They
reply.
can unmute. All right. So I, I think today's topic is something that is very just not trendy. It is also more of, like it's become, AI has become like our daily chai, like we don't when it's just not something that only set of people uses. It's like become our daily normal for all of us. But having said that, how are we using AI, and how are we focused using AI, and in large, how what has been the impact of it is something, a question that needs to be asked by each one of us. And today's topic set, right, like we are battling just not AI, we are battling regulatories, we are battling regulations, the privacy, the policy. How are we protecting all this? So what may seem as, like very day to day basic things is actually become a regulatory challenge, and in a very deeper way, in this world today. So let's begin our today's talk. So I have a very small deck to show you all as to how I'm taking this through. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just trying to dissect this topic in a very n- detailed way. First, let's understand what AI is. Hey, can we? I think it is one moment.
Ma'am, you could put it on slideshow.
While I'm presenting, I'm unable to. One second. Let me stop sharing and screen. In the meantime, before I start with my presentation, do you anybody would want to share anything that you're looking forward to in this session? Typically, anyone?
Understanding the advantages and disadvantages of using AI.
Okay. Then anybody else? That's right. That's a good start.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Ma'am, we are expecting to know larger legal framework to regulate AI because regulation is one of the challenge, as the title suggests, battling with the AI. So, larger legal context I
Right.
am forward.
Okay. Somebody in the chat is saying we would like to know core regulatory challenges and also the measures present right now in the current legal framework. Okay. Any more? How would we tackle the issues of not having any legal precedents, legislations to protect citizens from harms of AI? Okay, that's a nice question. All right, so I think let's not waste any more time. I've understood what I'm just trying to read what what
No, I
everybody
want
is
to know that
expecting to.
how machine learning is going to help in legal field.
Okay. India's law comparison with GDPR. Okay. AI as skill, occupation, and legal field. All right. Let's see how much of your expectations are going to be meeting here, and what we could cover and what we could not cover. Let's see what all could be, what how can I do justice with all your expectations. Yeah. So to start with, so what is your idea of AI?
Ma'am, with your permission, may I start?
Please, please.
Ma'am, so far, as in a layman term, I can say if historically, ma'am, AI not a new things, any things
Okay.
that can be automated. I would like to get help from the Alan Turing. We say the Alan Turing test. The Alan Turing in 1950 itself, he developed a Turing test to identify or to recognize when we say AI is a perfect AI. Means
Okay.
when an AI is in position to deceive person, when the respondent is not in position to distinguish whether I am talking to a natural person or a algorithm, bot or AI something, then he said a Turing test is passed. But Alan Turing died very earlier. There was some other issues we all
Thank
know.
you, Satish.
And
Thank you. That was a very clear explanation of what AI that you understand is. So, artificial intelligence, as we all know, is is something that is no more a distant concept of science fiction or a Silicon Valley boardroom. So, how we are trying to shape India's AI is how we interact with technology, institutions, and governance. So, to begin with today's journey, it is important to understand two major categories of AI. One is the narrow AI, and the other one is the generative AI. So, the narrow AI refers to the systems designed to perform a specific task like a chatbot. Say, suppose if you log into any website, you have a chatbot which comes in to say, "Hi, may I help you?" And it only assists. It's given a set of instructions where it can only answer to your specific questions. So it can only do a specific task. Only when you say, suppose if you order something on Swiggy, the first thing that comes out is the chatbot that comes in, AI chatbot that comes in and says that this is what is your order, how can I help you. So the questions are set, the answers are set. So it only interacts with what is being fed into it. So that is the narrow AI. And and there are also other examples like image recognizers and recommendation engines. So in these types we see most commonly um, in multiple scenarios, and it is used in a variety of institutions or in domains, multiple domains, as per the use cases is applicable. The other one is the generative AI, which mimics human cognition more broadly. It can learn, adapt, and apply knowledge across domains, while still theoretically, generative AI shadows looms over regulatory discourses. So, how this would still be further carried out is in generative AI. So all AI models that it creates, whatever the content that is created in generative AI, such as text, images, code, or audio, by learning from the existing data. So it creates, it replenishes, it renovates from the existing data. Say suppose, and what are its characteristics? Is it learns patterns, general human-like output. So that is what is now called as LLM, large language module. If correct me if I'm wrong, this is what is the term that's used now, which actually just not It is the large module of the language that has been used to adapt into a content-based generative AI. So this AI is capable of adapting, mimicking, and innovating. So this includes both foundational models. So for example, ChatGPT. ChatGPT, you type anything, you will get an entire answer of a bundle of answers, which is like you can as is go and paste it friendly into your question answers. So suppose if you are a law student, if you ask what is what is generative AI, you will get an entire answer, and that will be yes, that's right. Thanks, Vijayalakshmi. It's large language model. Yeah, that is what I was trying to tell. So now, these are the two AI models I'm sure most of you are aware of. But to begin with, this is how AI is helping us. It is helping us in day-to-day lives. It has been our interns, it has been our assistants, it has been our way beyond an assistant also. So how is these examples are in practice is, say for example, ChatGPT. So how is ChatGPT used? How are you all using ChatGPT these days? Anybody? What is that you're not, let me reframe my question. What is that you're not using ChatGPT for?
Mostly for academic purpose, for generating images, for getting structured information.
That's it.
Sometimes
Anybody else apart from Satish who would want to answer? What is that you're not using ChatGPT for?
Yeah, just I'm not using it for eating. That's it. Everything else is used for it.
So you're not using just to eat. So it can give you instructions as to how you eat, but you
Yes.
what you need to do is you physically need to
Mostly
eat.
and in the legal
and taking
field,
on your
I
plate.
believe we are using it for day-to-day research every day.
Right. So ChatGPT or like other design
Ma'am, can I answer?
websites. Yes,
Ma'am,
please.
it is mainly used for the mainly non-physical works, na? Only in computer, only electronic mode only, and outside
Right.
not physical.
Right. Yeah. So just not ChatGPT, there are other, like other websites like Midjourney, Dali. So these are all used in design, advertising, and illustration based companies. They use it more heavily to have promoted for your brand promotion or, so those cases are there. And we also use of course, yes, there are multiple use cases for us, how we are using chat gpt or generative ai, either as a promotional content or as a customer outreach. So if I am a business owner, I would want to do a customer outreach, I would extensively heavily rely on a generative content that would help me to populate it in my posts in Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and then start a customer outreach. So this has been a practice, and this is a typical example of how we are using generative AI. So now, how is this relevant to our case of concern in and how is this legally impacting the um world, I mean, India at one stage and globally also. So, what are the issues that we are facing when it comes of generative AI? So, the major issues are one is the intellectual property, and then there's something called deep fakes, then there's data scraping, authorship. So, all these are all issues that are being raised due to the extensive use of generative AI. So, and the second thing is, Indian Copyright Act does not currently recognize any non-human authorship. So you may give instructions as to, say, suppose if I have to do this webinar and I say, I want to create a image using the title with a image of a human robot, and if I give some, use cases, if I give a AI prompt, I would get an image what I would actually mean, and then I might have to give multiple instructions to typically make it a image as proper as possible. So, but is it again copyrightable? Do I hold the authorship of that particular image just because I gave 10, 20 prompts to ensure I have given that? Is it something that I have created that image? Have I done anything to have the authorship of that particular image created by AI?
No, ma'am.
Yes. So basically, so these are the things that, like we would just by prompting AI to do one work, we are not the owners of that particular work. So that is something that we all have to give. We all have to ensure that we are leaving with it. We may refer to AI. We may ask AI to do a specific task to edit a word document, or hit a word count, count the characters in this particular word document, or may condense this article to 600 characters or 800 characters. So this is how we would be using it in a very ethical way, rather than trying to scrape a data, or trying to modulate, or fabricate another image, and try doing multiple other um, exercises, which in self would ultimately make us put into spot and be and also infringing intellectual properties, which is not actually ours. So this is what is widely happening, and we will see that in the due course of our class. So as I was explaining you what AI is, and what is narrow AI, and what is generative AI, I would next like to go speak about how is this AI, and how is our legal system, or our regulatory systems, or our norm, how are we prepared to embrace AI in this age with the help of Data Privacy Act. So let's understand. I'm unable to roll out my screen and schedule again. I mean, the screen is. One moment.
Ma'am, if you're still facing issues, you could share the PPT. I would be happy to share the screen.
Okay. So let's understand how are we facing AI in the age of data privacy. So how are we using this? So how AI uses personal data, scraping, profiling, prediction, just which is just what that I said now. And what are the legal frameworks before DPDP Act, and which is the IT Act and SPDI rules. So how is these data? How are we using it as a live? We'll also see a case study of a live example of how is this been helping us. So how many of you have quite deeply dealt with our the new DPDP Act? Anybody?
Ma'am, not deeply to say, but means ki larger framework I have studied like.
Satish Kumar, the poster boy of all the 110 participants here. I want more answers. Of course, yes, you're welcome, Satish, but I want other people to also speak up. So,
Pardon, ma'am. I. Pardon. Ma'am, not deeply to say, but means ki larger framework I have studied like.
anybody?
Means ki larger framework I have studied like. Means ki larger framework I have studied like. Pardon, ma'am. I. Pardon. Pardon.
Okay, if nobody else is speaking, you are good to go, Satish. I have no problem.
Ma'am, I have not studied deeply, but on a basic framework, like what are the responsibility of judiciary, particularly that sections, intermediary, and in comparison to GDPR, how DP is different in terms of protecting data privacy of the peoples at large. These sections I have studied.
Yeah, Disha, you can still tell what you know about some basics as well. Since I said this I wanted to be an interactive session. I would want to interact and then take this forward than like reading it out from the chats. Yes, Disha, over to you. Disha Khandelwal.
Good evening, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Disha.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Disha. Go ahead.
I have read it about last year about this act, and it was like I read about the fiduciary relationship between the data owner and the data protector, and
Okay,
some guidelines about it.
right.
I don't remember the exact
Nice.
words.
No problem at all. I just wanted to understand how the room is to
The
to
the
bring in
data
these issues.
this act also provides the guidelines that how we can share and and when a person can restrict his or her data from other usage.
Okay. Very good, Disha. Thank you so much. Thank you, Satish, for all your inputs. Well, so okay, so what I was trying to tell you is AI's power lies in data. So we all know that how if we feed a little data, how the entire data is creeped into it. So it is very massive, it is very granular and often personal also. So from voice commands to biometric logs, AI thrives on extracting patterns from human activity. But this creates a privacy paradox also. So I'm sure you all agree with me on this. So India's legal framework until recently was rooted in the IT Act 2000, Information Technology Act 2000, and SPDI, which is the Sensitive Personal Data Information Rules 2011. So these laws were enacted in a pre-AI era and lacked the nuances needed to govern machine learning algorithms. So and next comes the so these are AI law. I mean, I think this was a similar revolution before when in 2000, in the if we go 25 years back, when when IT sector was just booming, and internet was the thing of the future. Internet was the future. So in 2000, I'm not sure how many of you are from the era of 90s or 80s here. How many of you are from the era of 90s and 80s? Anybody? Anybody who was born in the 90s or 80s here in the room? Okay, you people are making me feel too old now. Okay. Well, that was so in the 90, I mean, when internet was the boom in 1995 to 2000, so there was a lot of boom and traction the way now it is for AI. So when the first when we were trying to write www.google.com and trying to search for the web search, if whatever we were trying to do, it was not on Google, it was on the Internet Explorer, and we had only few email carriers like Hotmail or we also had Yahoo, and then was the Gmail. So it was a fascination thing for us to think that okay, there is how we can actually chat on Yahoo chat or Google chat, That was the most fascinating thing then. Only in after 2005, 2006, the social media pages came. Even before Facebook, it was Orkut. So these were the initial carriers of the internet era. So when at that time, to ensure, so it is always like that, right? When first there will be some advantages from benefit. First, we'll always have benefits from technology, and then we'll also have some wrongdoings from any of the technology, and then after this there are some wrongdoings, then comes the legal regulatory system, which will try to protect the wrongdoings of the technology and ensure that the benefits are reaped at a larger case. So this is how the entire trend is. So why is law coming in the third stages? Because first a product is developed, second it will be seen how it is being able to be used in a larger extent, and thirdly, when there is a larger extent to it, there is also some disadvantages to it. So that is how it is for any of such is, be it technology, be it a product, be it anything for that matter. That is how it is. And then only when they see that, okay, if there are a lot of disadvantages to it, that is actually disturbing the entire ecosystem of a society and a country at a large, then only some regulatory actions are taken. And once that regulatory actions are taken, that we will then ensure that that particular issue is resolved with some legal enforcement of law. So that is how it has been always happened, and so is the case with AI also. So people who have seen how the boom of internet was in 2000 and what led to IT Act in 2000 will now also understand after 25 years, when we have AI and all the impact that we are facing through AI. I am sure now we only have a DPDP Act, but in few years we may have some other stringent laws to regulate AI. So maybe in another matter of 5 to 7 years, I think what AI is some boom like this will slowly become, another mundane task for the day, and it will have its own due courses to it with some law enforcement. So that is how every act has become, and so is the AI also. I mean, I'm not concluding it right away, but I'm just trying to say how things have evolved. So I just wanted to take you back to 25 years, how IT Act had come into picture for. So I'm sure most of you are aware with the current IT Act.
Uh, yes, ma'am, to a general extent.
Okay, so IT Act regulates your usual fraud. It detects your fraud. Anything that any wrongdoings that is happening through an IT information technology will try to be will have whatever negative impact that is happening through the information and technology, and any product or byproduct of our information technology, that is ultimately taken care by the IT Act, and any wrongdoings are punished under the law. Any offenses relating to that particular this thing is like fraud, there is phishing, there is what is it? What is the other one? Which usually happens with all our systems. Hacking. No, there's another word to it.
Denial of service.
Sorry?
Denial of service.
No, not denial of service. I'm talking about phishing. I'm talking about fraud.
Identity theft.
Spam.
Sorry? Yeah, plagiarism is one, cyberbullying. Yes, go on, guys. At least if you're not talking, I would want at least a chat session to be interactive. So these are a couple of things which IT Act has clear laws, established laws, and it takes care of. But what becomes beyond is the algorithms. So, I mean, the IT Act then was not very well prepared to identify that, okay, if you write a specific algorithm, you would be able to generate information or content. That was not something that was new 25 years back then. So now, with this particular new technology, so will be the new uh, case. So, have you ever? I mean, I think most of you are students in this group, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, anybody of you have come across this landmark judgment of Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India, 2017?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's regarding privacy, right to privacy.
Yeah. Any does anybody of you want to give me a nutshell of what actually was this case about? Okay, this is something which comes under the Article 21, correct? So it's another case, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Just as you said, it comes under Article 21, and it also guaranteed as the freedom under Part 3 of the Constitution, as far as I remember. And it's
So, sharing
It's
Aadhaar
all
details, sharing Aadhaar biometric details. So, what was the contention, the major contention of Mr. Puttaswamy in this case against Union of India?
I'm like sharing data and biometrics.
So, yes, so sharing our Aadhaar number, or biometrics is equally breaching and intruding our privacy. So that was the major contention of Mr. Puttaswamy here. And ultimately, the court declared privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. So this decision was it had a very profound impact on the AI disclosure also, especially which concerned surveillance and profiling. So there was one incident that happened in 2020. So Delhi police employed facial recognition technology (FRT) to identify protesters during a civil unrest. So there was a civil unrest. There was a riot in one of the areas in the Delhi province. So in the Delhi state. So what did the police do was they deployed this FRT technology, so to identify these protesters. So this didn't just identify the protesters, but it also but also multiple people also came in the radar which they were exposed. So this raised concerns around consent accuracy. So whether if there are 25 people in the mob, if there are 35 people in the crowd, and if you want to identify only 5 to 6 people of them, why are you even surveilling the other 35 people? So this was the concern raised very violently, and what happened next was civil society, most people filed, most organizations filed a public interest litigation, which also asserted that finally it was declared that FRT is one of such technologies which violates privacy norms, and at that time we didn't even had a data protection law in place. So this case signals that a growing conflict is that AI's efficiency versus constitutional freedoms also. So AI was efficient, but it didn't help us even to protect ourselves constitutionally. So even before the Data Protection, Data Person and Data Protection Act 2023 was passed, there was a lot of back and forth provision. The policy was redefined multiple times, and we didn't really know if something like this would be passed by the parliament. I'm sure you would all know about it. How many of you are practicing advocates or anybody in the profession? Anybody?
Ma'am, there was a Act, Criminal Procedure Identification Act 2022. Are you referring to that?
No. I'm not referring to that. I want to know how many is anybody working professional here in this group? No working professionals? All are students?
No,
Okay. All right. I just wanted to take that clarity because I would not want. Oh, somebody is a working professional. Mani Khatri. What do you do, sir? Somebody please answer, no? Students.
What was your question, ma'am?
Somebody raise hands to be a working professional. So I wanted to know who is that person. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, Satish, you were saying something. Tell me.
Ma'am, I was referring to an act passed by the Parliament in 2022, like Criminal Procedure Identification Act, which allows for the capturing of biological digital samples, fingerprints.
No, I was not referring to that. I was referring to AI data policy before it was even passed by the parliament had multiple iterations, and there was a couple of times the policy was provided in public domain to verify, review, and refer and raise any objections for the audience at large or the judiciary at large, for that matter. So there were a couple of instances wherein most of the bureaucrats, the people from the judiciary have raised certain flags, and finally a lot of after a multiple iterations, the DPDP Act was passed in the 2023. So what are the key features of DPDP Act? So the key features of DPDP Act includes definitions of roles like data fiduciary and consent manager. Then there is a clear obligation around notice and consent. And there's a mechanism for data principal rights like erasure, correction, and grievance redressal. So where does the tension with AI arise in the DPDP Act? So AI systems often use implied or indirect consent, especially when scraping public data. They do not have they do not take a direct consent, but they take an implied consent. So with this, what happens is the right to erasure is difficult to enforce once personal data has been used to train the AI modules. So AI systems lacks transparency and then makes it hard for users to trace how their data was used. So there's one case with Zomato. I would like to take this up here. This is a live case study, real-time case study in this thing.
Broad exemptions given to government and its agency was also a bone of contention in DPDP Act, as far I can remember.
Yeah. So that is also one. So the one that I am talking about is that there was a Zomato's AI enabled interview tool. What happened was, since Zomato is one of the leading food tech platforms, it piloted a AI-based interview screening tool for customer support and delivery executive roles. So the tool analyzed candidates' voice samples and verbal responses. to assess language fluency, tone, and alignment with contemporary company expectations. So, what were the reported concerns was candidates from eastern and southern states reported lower scores, allegedly due to pronunciation and accent markers that deviated from the AI module's preferred patterns. So that there was a regional accent bias. The second one was urban bias. The applicants from tier 2 and tier 3 cities felt they were screened out unfairly, with the system favoring metro based candidates. And the third one was lack of resources. So there was no appeal or review mechanism for these uh, employees who were taking position in this. So once the AI tool flagged a candidate as not fit, they were eliminated from the hiring pipeline automatically. So this deployed a transparency deficit. Neither the criteria nor the scoring matrix were disclosed. Applicants didn't know what led to the rejection. So what is the process here? What is the legal implication and the ethical implication here? Due to this, this due process, there was a process violation entirely because it was based on AI. So the AI system effectively made employment decisions without offering affected individuals a chance to explain or correct. And there was a huge discrimination risk, potential violation of Article 14 and 16 of the Indian Constitution, again, which guaranteed equality before law and equal opportunity in public employment. So data protection challenge, lack of clarity around. So how is our data retention? How is the data is retained? How is consent and automated decision making rights were this thing. So again, this was one of the challenge for the DPDP Act as well. And with all this, there was no regulatory oversight. India currently has no law requiring auditability or fairness checks for AI used in hiring. So with this case, what was the key takeaway was that AI tools and recruitment may optimize efficiency, but without transparency and audibility and fairness mechanism, they can lead to algorithm exclusion, infringing or constitutional and human rights. So this was one of the cases. This was one of the case studies of Zomato having a AI tool for recruitment purpose. So this was one of the cases that we usually see how it helped shape the DPDP Act further or in through it. Any doubts so far? The audience is quite so am I going too fast, too slow?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so this was one of the examples or a case study that we can say about what was the impact or the repercussions with AI and how DPDP Act was a limitation to it. I mean, there was no further ground to it to actually control such a behavior. So next, what we can again see is bias. Like AI also has, like I said, whatever you feed AI is what it will take it as a comparative this thing. Likewise, so AI systems, they often inherit the bias embedded in their training data. So whatever you train them or whatever you feed the AI, that is what is it inculcates or inhibits in it, and that is what it throws out, right? So this is not just a technical glitch, it's a legal and ethical hazard also for me. So for example, if an AI tool trained on historical hiring data shows a tendency to favor male urban candidates, it will perpetuate that bias despite being neutral. Say, suppose if I have to train a tool saying that I want to hire men between 22 to 29 with the qualification of BE computer science, in top 20 colleges. So it will only identify candidates in this particular segment, and only they will be given an opportunity. So like we have so this is how the AI that is how we will be able to train the AI. In one widely reported case, so there was another case that I would also want to highlight here. There was a government internship screening tool that was deployed in one of the government agencies, and this that was the same bias. So bias is one of the major criteria when AI is there. So there was so the tool processed thousands of applications using inputs like name, educational background, PIN code, then language fluency, writing samples. So this was built on to ensure merit-based shortlisting tool, and with so that they thought, okay, this would reduce human intervention and it could also reduce human bias. But the outcome was otherwise. What went wrong here? Disproportionate rejection. A significant number of qualified candidates from the particular community was I can mention this here as the scheduled caste communities were either rejected nor shortlisted. So that was one of the major group of that happened, and there was a data linkage to caste markers. So name, pin codes, and schools were found to correlate with caste-based identity. So, and AI module was trained on historic selection data that were unintentionally reflected on structural data biases. So there were multiple activists and NGOs who raised red flags, who contended this very firmly and argued that algorithm reinforce existing school or inequities. So this was not something that really helped the government, for a government institution to take such a step of having a AI tool with set based instructions was not something that was a very good move. So there were a couple of legal notices was sent by the Dalit rights groups seeking explanation and redressal, and there were no immediate judicial ruling that actually followed. But then finally the HR ministry withdrew the tool from the subsequent rounds and initiated an interview, the normal interview course. So what was the concerns here? Like, what were the legal concerns that actually was the stemming cause out here? So one was the article 15 of one of the Constitution, so which clearly prohibits discrimination based on caste, race, religion, or place of birth. So even by automated systems deployed by state, so this was a pure discrimination out here. And secondly, it lacked algorithmic accountability. So no audit was there. There was no fairness checks or impact assessment was done before deploying the tool. So there was no informed consent. So consent is something that consent is the core of any of these tools, so that was not there. So candidates weren't informed their data would be used for AI-based screening, or that their results were algorithmically generated. Even the new narrow AI systems can encode systematic biases. So this was if you remember me of talking about AI slides, in the first beginning of my slide, I bifurcated AI into narrow AI and generative AI. So this is one such typical example of narrow or neutral AI, wherein it could encode systematic biases from historical data, which resulted in algorithmic casteism. So without human intervention, transparency, and this legal safeguards, so such tools would violate constitutional promise of equality. Okay, so this was something that one of the causes or discriminations in the AI system that uh, India has so far faced. So, how are we? Okay, we now saw what AI is. Now we also saw how what is the privacy law says. We also saw what are the challenges that these policies could bring in. Now let us see what are the actual policies and ethic challenges and how is Indian government preparing itself to help us take the way forward. Yeah. Any questions so far? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Anything that you want to discuss
No,
about?
ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you feel bored in between?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Can you think of any policy changes or ethical challenges that which has impacted through AI?
Ma'am, for example, Copyright Act, it provides exclusive economic benefits as we go through the sections of the Copyright Act. So in that case, we can observe the ethical breaches like a recognition and economic benefits that is aligned to a creator is many times acquired by or beached by the AI. Like in Indian context, there is no such precedence, but yes, there are three famous US cases based on that. Even the Supreme Court have relied sometime on that, like Thomas Reuters versus Ross Intelligence and Adri versus Meta, and concept of fair use. This term have been interpreted again and again. So one that case of ethical breach, I can remember.
Okay. Anybody else?
Ma'am, could you please repeat the question? I was not able to hear it.
Yeah, I would want to understand if you have come across any challenges in the policy or the ethics that you can highlight. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Disha, is my voice clear to you? You said it's lagging. All right. Yeah,
Like,
so is my question here. So I just wanted to understand if you all have come across, if you have any idea about what policy and ethics challenges that has been thrown by AI.
nowadays, all the informations we already get through AI only, and most of the things are controlled through it on by many persons. Okay, and now there's
Okay.
many misuses are doing by many people's many misuses of AI
Right.
related to law because they have all information provided to them only.
Correct.
Ma'am, the AI keeps the track of our digital footprints, and that can be very like harmful for us in reference with Article 21 in regards with right of privacy because it sometimes uses our data without actually asking without actually even our consent.
Exactly. That's right. Then anybody?
I'm like there is no transparency like while even writing any research paper or any publication, there's no transparency in the content because we can easily get it through AI. Like it is the most easiest way for us to use AI to create content. Like we are not generating our own knowledge, we are just copy pasting it.
So how are you able to score marks? I mean, like how are your teachers finding it easy or difficult?
Ma'am,
How
like
is
there
it
is
for them?
a Turnitin process, like there is a whole Turnitin plagiarism and AI check. So that's why we have to
Okay.
make our projects on our own. But usually on the AI, like for not just for the projects, but for facing the research papers and also
Hmm.
for writing any blogs and something, I have seen most of the people, some of my friends also, even myself, sometimes when I'm running out of time, I use AI. It just gives me the content like very accurate on the point. It's like this is the case, whether the case of the facts of the cases are incorrect or correct, it doesn't care. It will just give you a fake citations, and some people even believe in it. They don't even cross check. So I think AI has lead us to a way when there is no transparency, there is no fairness.
Okay. Then anyone else?
Ma'am, one more major issue with AI is of the question of legal personhood in terms of jurisprudence. Like we are seeing the increasing number of bots and AI coming at social media, and they are posting, they are assessing the characters of some personality. So
Mhm.
there one challenge is come like legal personhood of AI has not been defined yet. So this is one of the major. Then privacy surveillance, that will also a allied activity only. Okay.
Okay. So why I asked you all these questions was, I mean, even before we had DPDP Act, we had Niti Aayog committee and, Ministry of Information Technology release a regulation framework, policy framework called as Niti Aayog. And it was for AI for all. It emphasized more inclusively on growth access towards sectors like health, agriculture, education, smart cities, and also in infrastructure. So what was the principles of ethical AI? So they identified what is ethical AI and what is unethical AI. So Niti Aayog acknowledged the absence of regulatory safeguards and proposed a couple of broad ethical tenets to say that these are the ethical AI principles. So one was safety and reliability. Any AI system that functions securely under expected and unexpected conditions was tagged as safe and reliable. And the next one was any system that was not resulting in discriminatory or biased outcomes, especially against marginalized group, was something that was not in a harm or was trying to be equal. And the third one is inclusivity and non-discrimination. So any AI tool that does not reinforce existing societal inequalities, so that was also a checkbox for the ethical AI principle. So then the fourth principle was accountability. So any developers, users of AI system must be held responsible for any harmful consequences. Then the protection of data privacy. So again, this was in line with the Puttaswamy's judgment that AI should ensure that personal data is protected and used lawfully. So what was the limitation even out of it was that these were recommendatory and not statute. There was no statutory backing or there was no timeline or enforcement mechanism was proposed. That is when again Niti Aayog, another draft was released. That is what I was trying to explain you when I projected my previous slide. That even before DPDP Act to 2023 came into force, there was these draft policies that was released, one from the Niti Aayog and then from the Ministry of Information Technology. And with these from the Niti Aayog, there was another draft released in 2021 by Ministry of Information Technology on these. There was an updated AI guidelines specifically. So this initiative also focused on AI ethical, trustworthy, and lawful deployments of AI in public sector. So the core principles that was proposed was ethical purposes. So AI should benefit humanity. How AI should, what are the people that would benefit from AI was, so the AI should benefit just not humanity, but it should also respect dignity and freedom. So that was one thing. And then fairness and non-discrimination. AI should avoid biases and outcomes of biases by ensuring representation of data sets, and it should also have regular audits. And the third one was explainability and transparency. So AI should have, the core principle was like AI should provide users with clear explanation about how the decisions are made. So these were the few principles that the Ministry of Information Technology had put up for before as the draft policy. So why these principles matter is India has no standalone AI law or AI regulator or enforceable ethical code. So these frameworks, though commendable, are non-binding and have not translated into sector-specific compliance mandates. So with increasing adoption of AI in critical areas like healthcare, policing, finance, and multiple other domains, ethics without enforceability can be toothless. So these are something that we also have to keep in mind. These are the major gaps. Even the DPDP Act to an extent has not been able to cover these. Yes, that's correct. That's what I'm trying to tell you. National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence. This is what is the Niti Aayog um, uh, report that was released by the Ministry of Information Technology. So these are again, are only a guidelines, which is again backed up by DPDP Act, but we still do not have a confined AI law, or something that would address all these ongoing issues. So the policy, the data DPDP Act still has something that needs to be tapped potentially and effectively, and further enforceable laws are to come in future, just not only in India, also globally. Okay, now let's see how is AI is used in the workplace, or how AI has affected in the workplace scenarios largely. So AI in the workplace. Recently, there was a very trending news of a Coldplay concert. Anybody of you are aware of this recent news? Anybody?
Astronomer.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it? What happened? What was the incident?
I feel that it's a grave intrusion into the privacy of people.
Right. Okay. Let's decode it now. Okay. So what happened was,
Ma'am, can I say?
yeah, please.
Ma'am, some of the black market tickets were sold at that time in wrong way.
No, I'm not talking about that. So what recently happened was, this was an incident that happened a few weeks ago, actually. It was a Coldplay concert in London, and a AI-powered kiss cam, typically used in stadiums to spotlight for a public display captured an image of a man and a woman seated together or holding hands together or hugging each other. So the camera software integrated with facial recognition and social media mining identified them as Andy Brown, who was a CEO of a company called Astronomer, and with him was another woman who was the HR head of their company. I'm sorry, I know it's her name is Kate Brown or something. Katie, I don't know. I mean, let me just go back and see what her name was. So these two were spotlighted in a, Coldplay concert with thousands of people around. So the image, if you after this seminar, you can go back and look into this issue. So the image circulated widely on social media and triggered immediate public speculation and gossip. So the CEO of a company and HR was spotlighted in a Coldplay in a compromising position, and that had a multiple repercussions. Not just it was even though it sounded humorous at the beginning, and eventually what led was a consequential damages to the company. So what later what happened was it. So the moment this kiss cam projected them, and the face recognition tool were able to capture who these people were, people started looking out to them on the publicly available websites like LinkedIn and social media profile. And what appeared to be fun in the concept
Actually,
spiraled
actually,
into a workplace privacy scandal later on. Yeah, please tell me, Mansoor.
Actually, ma'am, it was a blessing in disguise for that company. Actually, people started, surfing about that company after that incident.
No,
Its
that is there,
popularity.
but yeah, let me come to the privacy and protection to it. Yeah, we had a couple, I mean, that had a fair share of good and bad to the company, but it and also had a good and bad share to the people. But there is something deeper to it. Let's decode that now. Okay, so now what happened next was the company. So where I was, yeah. So what happened was, yeah. So initially what, oh my god, they were caught up like that, and that become when that was getting viral. So later on it slowly snowballed into a workplace privacy scandal. So the company had to initiate a internal HR inquiry, and even though they both maintained that it was a coincidence and not a violation of their professional boundaries, they eventually had to resign their positions as CEO and the HR head. So this incident, although humorous at the surface, it underscores serious legal and ethical questions. One, was informed consent obtained to use and process their biometric data in real time? Did Coldplay use any, while giving tickets, did it take consent from the participants in the Coldplay event that are you okay to be projected in the camera? If the camera spotlights you, are you okay to be visible to the public? Was that consent taken from the Coldplay concert? That's a major thing, right? So that was not there. So should AI systems deployed in public entertainment spaces comply with data protection laws? So just because I have gone with my boyfriend or you have gone with your girlfriend to a Coldplay concert, does that mean that the kiss cam should spotlight us, and then that becomes another uh, entire business? No, right? You might have gone with your girlfriend or your partner or whoever to have fun. It is your life at the end of the day. How am I supposed to take control of it? Who am I for that matter? It is a matter of two consenting adults decision to attend a gathering together to have some fun, which is only that. It should have been only that. What happened was a consequential damages, not just to the company, but also to the individuals. Why did it happen? Why did it happen? Anybody? Guys, please answer. Hello, am I audible?
Ma'am, repeat
Yes,
question
ma'am.
one more.
Am I audible?
At that
Yes,
time,
ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah, so I'm asking a question. Why did this happen? Like, whose failure was it at the first? Is it these two people who attended the uh, Coldplay concert, or is it the company, or is it the Coldplay organizers? Whose fault was it?
Ma'am, in terms of judicial interpretation, such questions are still unsettled. To whom such responsibility, such accountability should be assigned? In general, we can say, okay, AI is taking consent implicitly, but still it's not a settled question. Like to give an
Yeah,
analogy,
Disha. Yeah, thanks, Satish. Yeah, Disha, you can go ahead. Tell me.
Ma'am, I think the company will be held liable because the AI can't be held liable as it is not some legal person, but we can held company liable like the under the like it's like the the manufacturer or the tool we are using, the manufacturer of that particular tool can be held liable.
All right. Okay, so now there are three things here. Okay, one is since you, okay, if I and you go to a movie, we will get a movie ticket which will have a small private rules and terms and conditions written to it. Okay, that you are going to this movie, this is how you have to exit, this is what it is, this is the charges, you are only one person can sit in one seat, you cannot have your another toddler sit on you or take an extra space. So these are the similar rules that you will find either in a movie ticket or a cinema ticket or in a any travel ticket for that matter, or any entertainment related aspects. So did this ticket has any rules of taking consent of their biometric consents or your video consents? So did it had any? No. So these are some things that maybe this incident will evolve in future, wherein the ticketing companies or these organizers will also be forced to think of the repercussions that if you are putting two people on a spot in a public domain in such a large way in this world of AI. If this incident had happened in 10, 20 years back, would it had the same impact as it's happening now? No, right?
definitely.
and that
Totally not.
time this technology was not so much
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So now what happens is if in split seconds this entire incident has gone viral, there are hundreds of people writing articles on LinkedIn as to why it is bad for the company, why how the CEO is bad. He is paying even though he is in an illicit relationship. So there are people taking sides between too many people, right? So who are we all? I mean, everybody is trying to make engaging posts for their viewers and their viewership to only agree, like, dislike their posts and their content. But the real issue here is the privacy, and how are we protecting that privacy, right? So now with this, how are we trying to take shape? So this incident has exemplified how AI, when deployed without safeguards, can blur personal and professional boundaries and raise urgent privacy dilemmas. So this was a very personal time for them, which eventually brought up as a professional dilemma. It not only crossed personal boundaries, it also crossed professional boundaries, it also crossed violations, with all this, the company had to go consequential damage. So now Astronomer may be a company we didn't know about. Now we all know that company because of this incident. After knowing this incident, people will think, okay, what were their products, how were their services was, how have they done, how have they profited, and the like, right? So these are the things. So now employees have limited bargaining power. So this law must evolve to safeguard workplace dignity and privacy in the age of AI. So the key questions here is, the key legal questions that can be raised here is, was consent obtained? Did the AI vendor comply with data minimization norms? Can personal moments captured via AI become legal liabilities? Of course, yes, they may now claim a defamation suit and file cases, but how are we trying to affect the how is somebody trying to put all this in the space? So these are some of the examples that this is still a battle that we are still facing. And the next phase we are also seeing is this in the same thing in the regulatory developments aspect also. And then like I said, you know the global outlook is also the same thing with the Indian path forward. So today, globally, AI is being addressed through ethical frameworks and enforceable regulations. For example, the EU has passed the AI Act. So I would still suggest you all to, read about the AI Act. They're classifying AI system by risk, which has been released by the European Union. The GDPR again maintains mandates explainability, data minimization, and audit trails. The US uses a sectoral approach with strong enforcement through the FTC. So EU and US has some sort of protection against AI, which is still not a clear depicted picture in the Indian scenario. So that is where we are still stuck with the AI battle. And yeah, you can, Satish, a little later. I mean, maybe in the next round, maybe we can take it up in the end of the thing. So these are a couple of mandates. But how is India moving more cautiously with the DPDP Act is what we need to know. Do we require, if DPDP Act further is being amended, what are the legislations that needs to be filled? Like, like AI specific legislations, mandatory algorithmic audits, regulatory sandboxes, like we have for regulatory norms for fintech. So there is a regulation issued by the RBI for any of the fintech industry deployments. Say if there is a payment declaration that needs to come in, RBI's regulation number 2018 so and so will come in. Likewise, even for AI, especially for the use of AI, we need to have these particular inputs which would help AI laws in specific. So now India is also a part of G20 AI policy dialogues, and it has proposed bilateral data sharing and data sharing agreements with the European Union. So this is one of the raising tech power that India must balance both innovation and robust safeguard on the technologies. So now let's see if you have any questions for me. I think we are at the end of the session. Preksha and
Yes, ma'am.
team. So how are we taking this further? So I have one question for you all to think about. Should AI decisions be subjected to appeal just like human decisions? And the second one is, would you want to know if an algorithm made a hiring or credit decision about you? So these two are some discussion points that I would want to
For the
prompt.
first question, I think no is the answer.
Sorry?
I think for the first question, I will suggest that no, AI should not consider that way because we have heard so much news. Some people are too much connected with Chat GPT that they treat them like their partner and something, and at last, many of them do suicide. And there are so much cases. I don't think we should consider.
Okay. Anamika, you have raised your hand. Do you want to say something?
Ma'am, according to me, AI can't replace humans. As we all know, the data that AI have can be biased. The people who want the decision in their favor can do something, uh, and the accountability and responsibility will be not same when the judgment is in the hand of AI. So I don't think that AI will ever take the place of human, and it cannot because it doesn't have any kind of emotion. Why we have law not to uh, we can't, it's not for the punishment, it is to make the society uh, to advance the society, to make a society a better place. And AI don't have any emotion, so I don't think that it can understand all the things that human go through.
Okay. So another point of discussion that I would want to, just bring in for, should India require registration and licensing for high risk AI systems? Those which is typically used in, hiring, finance, or public health. Should India also
Yes,
require, registration and licensing?
a big yes.
I think yes, ma'am, because this can prevent many of scams and fraud, and people can go safely.
Right. So I think any questions that you want to we can take now?
The floor is open for questions, so you can either post them in the chat box or you can unmute and ask. Sahana ma'am is available and she's taking the questions. Satish, you can actually ask the question.
Yeah, you can ask.
Ma'am, my question is regarding IPR, means the intellectual property dispute. Ma'am, in 2000, I think 18 or 2020, somewhere between them, MIT scientist trained one AI model with
Okay.
thousands of molecular compounds. Okay, but that algorithm or that AI was not designed by those scientists. They were just trainer. They were trained that AI with chemicals compounds related to medicines. The company who owned that AI was different. So after all training, they asked that AI to present one antibiotic which
Okay.
which had a high effective
What is your
value.
question? What is your question, Satish?
I'm coming to this question.
Okay.
So to have a high effective value with least impact on the host, and they gave the medicine that is called halacin. We all can search about the halacin. It was discovered with the help of artificial intelligence. Then the question
Okay.
arises here: if in medicine halacin have been discovered, then to whom the rights, copyright should be attributed to whom? That AI, that scientist who trained it, or the company who owned that AI, or that those engineers who actually designed or coded for the AI, or it should not be given to anyone at all. So what should be legal philosophical answer to this question?
Okay, if you remember in the very first beginning of the seminar, I mentioned that any authorship that has been which has come from the AI will not have a authorship to it, right? Do you remember that we mentioned this in the initial slides itself? Any so anything that is being done by AI with the code or AI prompts or tools that is provided. So why was now okay? If you have known so far, you would have also understood why there has been no copyright issued either to the government or the company, or it is or to the developers who provided it. Why do you think the copyright is not been provided yet, Sadish?
Ma'am, can you repeat, please?
Ma'am, it was a challenge by means ki scholars on different ground. First, on the trust. First issue was the trust, effectiveness of it. Though on
Ma'am,
the
can we leave now?
empirical data, it was effective, but still on the trust basis, it was challenge. Second, because there were multiple stakeholders, scientists who trained it, developer who developed it, company who owned it, and first of all, this medicine was not developed with the perspective of getting IPR. So I have asked one question: ki in future, if such incidents increases, then how we will navigate through such situations?
Okay. Even in future, if something like this happens, we will need a specific policy as such. Even though we have Copyright Act, which gives protection to the authorship, we would need laws wherein it would clearly specify if there is a content that has been developed by using algorithmic laws. Says that is what we addressed in the initial time of our webinar, that any algorithmic uh, structures or use cases are still not covered in any of our laws. So we are not unable to protect the results provided by an algorithm into a copyright yet. So I think that is a need of the hour or to frame policies and regulatories to with respect to having such laws wherein, like if a person has put in that efforts to provide an algorithm to arrive at a certain result through AI, that can also be copyrightable. So that provisions are still not clear in the Indian legal system yet, and I think that is something that we would like to foresee in the future landscape of the legal revolution with respect to AI.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
But there is, ma'am, one practical angle as well. Like we, as a legal professionals, we are well versed in the law. Though we try to catch up with the new technology, but we can't be the expert of that technology. Those engineers who have developed it, they know better the nitty gritty of
Exactly.
this.
So, these lawmaking capacity or lawmaking body, the policy makers should not just make policy by themselves. They should engage. They should have a committee which will have people from all walks of life, people who are into this profession of AI, and try to enhance the pluses and minuses of this particular exercise, and then come out with possible actions and then make policies accordingly. So that is the only way out. So as lawyers, as lawmakers, we will not have the depth or the position to analyze what can happen next. So the future of AI is unknown, and the future of repercussions of AI is unknown. So is the laws that would come across in AI is also unknown. So these are something that needs to be decoded, that could be debunked, and then people should come into, take the policymakers, the law engaging law enforcement bodies should come on hand in hand and see, just not specific to Indian context, but it should also again do a comparative study between all the AI laws available across the globe and then come into some conclusion through it.
Yes, ma'am, you are right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ayushi has asked in the chat box that if she could write a research article on AI, whether it would be a good topic which could relate to the.
Definitely, yes. Definitely, yes. Common entry roles in data privacy and suggest how fresh candidates will break into domain. I'm not so sure. There are multiple DevOps, AI, and development AI, this thing like Amazon Web AI courses that you could do and the like.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
So my question is, recently, upcoming August, I'm going to present a paper related to cyber security that is concentrated on AI, where I take the most recent trend where in Instagram people convert their own images into Ghibli trends. And
Right.
also, this is not the end. Nowadays, they are taking the cinemas ending to be changed. Where Ranjana's very recently, Ranjana's climax has been changed with the help of AI, and they made Dhanush to save in that film. So this was the end. So what do you think? This much effect bringing AI, is it really needed, or do we need any restriction related to this? Can you
Definitely,
just
with
give us
respect to Ghibli, oh yeah, Ghibli, I somehow miss Ghibli. So this Ghibli trend became so popular, like everybody started putting up their photos. Imagine the company, Chat GPT company having the kind of number of images they are open to all our photographs. So with this they're making videos, the content that is definitely not right, like you're erasing the reality and trying to make a new reality with the AI, which is absolutely not required, if you
and
ask me.
also the government in this area is not much concerned, though we know that this is wrong, though we read post on related to Ghibli where people uploading their images, these are saved by chat gpt to use train their as a data to train their
Right.
own chat gpt. But from government side we don't see any concentration to
Exactly.
say
So
this
just
wrong.
not in India, but globally also, especially India, we stand in that crossroads of AI innovation and legal evolution. So AI is innovating in a very fast pace, but so is the legal evolution. So legally, we are still ready, we are just evolving day by day. So every day there is a new feature, there is a new innovation in AI, and that is causing an n number of repercussions. So does the law should also evolve and take its own courts to come into as a enforceable law. So that way this debate is something that is still ongoing, and the promises of AI is immense, like they are helping, the AI is helping immensely in multiple domains like healthcare, logistics, education, and it is very potential for their potential is very vast, but it is also harming privacy violations, there is bias, so there is a distant threat as well. So what we need is very strong laws, transparent systems, empowered regulators, and a culture of ethical innovation. So these are the things that we would draw. I mean, this is how I would like to draw a conclusion to this particular topic. Even though, yes, be it Ghibli. So Ghibli is one of the recent thing. So tomorrow anything else may come up also, and there is another innovation to be after. So this way, yes, somebody is writing recently, Denmark has proposed to amend their copyright law to provide copyright of people's personal features such as voice, facial expression. So this is one of, what is your opinion on that? Can it be possible in it? Yeah, like I said, like we are at a crossroad of innovation and evolution. So AI is innovating rapidly, and legal evolution is taking its due course. So we are just walking behind AI. I think we will have to somewhere walk hand in hand in future. That only then we can have strong laws, we can have transparent systems, we can have empowered regulators, and we can somehow control AI. If Denmark is doing, I have no, I don't think India would be able to do it in the next 20 years for sure. Not that I am anywhere trying to put raising a flag that India is slow in their developments, but having a copyright feature protection for each features of voice, facial expression for a population like a heavily populated country like India, it is not something that is really possible. So I don't think we would be able to see it in the near future. Mani Maran, your question is answered. Any more questions? Or we could
Ma'am,
close the session. What is the evidentiary value of AI generated discoveries? So the evidentiary value is immense, like it depends. So what is the content? How are you using that content is what it depends, Mansoor. So if I have to say that I have derived a content using a AI prompt and this is what is the evidence, then how are you even basing that in the legal courts actually? It is absolutely, it has no stand at all in the stand as a evidence in the courts, Indian courts or any courts for that matter.
Ma'am, one
Ma'am, but
last
it is
question.
widely used for finding traffic violations through AI cameras. So is it having
See,
any
AI
legal backing?
cameras are depicting you. Suppose if two people are going in a car and if I have not fastened my seat belt, so the camera is capturing me without the seat belt on, and that is a fair thing for me. It says that okay, if I have not I'll have to go and remember, right? It has happened with me. I have not fastened my seat belt, and there is a fine of 1,000 rupees. When I see why is it, so there is a, we could click the image and it is a proof. Evidentiary proof is there. So that is one such things. In other examples, like you, how are you trying to bring in such evidentiary value is also something that would matter in a public domain for that matter. So traffic camera was one of the very good examples, in fact. Yeah, Ritika, you were asking something.
Ma'am, one last question.
Yeah.
I said if India is so populated and it would take more years to get a safe and secured AI system in this
No, no,
country.
no, no, no. My question was not that. There was a question from Mani Maran Sarvanan in the chat, which
Yeah.
he has specifically read. I'll read his question. Recently, he's heard that Denmark has proposed to amend their copyright law to provide copyright of people's personal features such as voice, facial and expression, etc. What is
Yeah.
my opinion? And then can it be possible to replicate such law in India? So
No,
if
yeah, I understand the question, ma'am.
so
But if more secure and safe AI system has been provided across in many countries, in some countries they are really safe. For instance, we take China or Japan, we really have a very safe AI system where they too use these type of trends, but doesn't feel so much privacy related problems. But in
we
India, we
don't
face
know,
that.
right? See, in India, we know what is happening. Only few things
Yeah,
that is coming out from the domain, that is what we are talking about, right?
yeah, yeah.
So most companies would have blocked such, most countries would block such news at all to pass out. Say, for example, this kiss cam incident, we came to know that there is a privacy issue, that this, because it became extremely viral. So what some few countries will do is they'll not even let such news go out of their system at all. You understand? So
Okay.
how will you
Okay.
even know
I
that
accept.
if China has any privacy? They may be developed, but do you think they'll not have any such issues at all? They'll be having hundreds of them.
But it is not coming out.
Yeah, exactly. With UAE, UAE is one of the safest country. But do you think there are no crimes in UAE?
No.
There are crimes, but what the government is doing is that they don't want to project their crimes more. They want to keep it to themselves and deal it with their own way. But what
Okay,
we
ma'am.
are doing in India is very totally opposite to it.
Opposite. Okay.
We want to make everything viral. The news channels want to make everything viral just for their own TRPs. We want to do everything viral. If it is a small case of, I mean, even for rape, I mean, why are we having so many rape cases? Getting footage in the this thing. Do you think there is no rape happening in other parts of the world? There
No,
is.
but it is
There
not
are.
coming out.
There will be, but they'll not come out, right? So there is a marginal border or a boundary. What is going out as a news for a public at large, and what is only treated as a criminal offense, and that is dealt in that particular way, right? So there is a crime that has happened. People are focused in other countries to ensure that that particular crime is identified and a justice is delivered to that particular person. But what is happening in India is a totally different thing. People are
Okay.
doing debates over the TV channels and the social media across. But has the justice been served? It might serve, but it will take its own due course. So more or less, we always presume that it is whatever is happening, it's only in India. But other countries are also facing this. But all that is not known is, it doesn't come out as a news. So that is why we are not aware of it. In most of the cases.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I think we could end the session. Over to team of legal specs. It's been an honor for me to, have me on this session, and it has really it was not just it was a very interactive session. Thank you to all the audience who were interacting throughout. Thank you, Akshada and Preksha, for hosting me. And yeah, we can.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, ma'am.
ma'am, for
Thank you,
that.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sahana ma'am, for that rich and thought-provoking presentation. You have shared an incredibly sharp perspective on the risks of unregulated AI in data handling. Your clarity, insight, and ability to bridge law with business and tech is truly inspiring. Thank you once again, Advocate Sahana B. Satyanarayan, for helping us all better understand the intersection of AI, privacy, and legal responsibility. To everyone here, whether you are entering the legal field or already a part of this ecosystem, this conversation was a timely reminder that we need lawyers who think beyond the statutes and understand the system. The feedback session has been shared in the chat box. The certificates shall be issued to only those who fill the form, so please do not miss out. Kindly fill in the details very carefully. Those information will be reflected in your certificates. And we hope today's session it gave you not just information but direction. Don't forget you will receive your certificate of participation shortly, and do stay tuned with Legal Specs for more of such engaging future focused webinars. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and stay prepared for the future of law. Take care and have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
ma'am.
Thank you, Sana ma'am. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
To all the participants, please make sure that you fill out the form. The forms once closed are not going to be open again. So please make sure you have until 6 p.m. to fill out the forms. After that, I would be closing the forms. And on the basis of the people who have submitted the form, only those individuals will be receiving the certificates. Right? Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you, ma'am.